Hi, I'm going to speak to you about mind mechanisms and mind maneuvers. The mind is the seat of dominance of your existence. The mind determines how you will live, what you will achieve, and how content you feel. And therefore, the mind can be heaven or it can be hell. The mind can be your best friend or your worst enemy. The mind can be Satan or the mind can be God. Now, one uses only about 10% of the potential of the mind. In order to tap the entire potential, you need to understand the working of the mind and you need to harness the mind. Now, Sigmund Freud first gave a division of the mind into 4 parts. He spoke of id or instinct, he spoke of libido or sexual instinct, and he spoke of 2 more important things. He spoke of ego and he spoke of superego. Now the ego is what you think you are and the superego is what you think you should be. For example, if you run at a particular speed, then that is your ego. But if you think you can run at a much more higher speed, that is your superego. If you think you are honest, then that is your ego. But if you think that you can be even more virtuous of higher standards, then that is your superego. So superego is what you think you can be and ego is what you think you are. Now, conflict between who you think you are and who you want to be creates emotional turbulence. Now, emotional troubles or emotional conflicts are of different types. You could have a hyperstimulation, frustration and anger, or you could have a lower stimulation, that is loss of hope, pessimism and depression. You could have repressions about the past. You could feel guilt or shame or things should not have gone the way they went, and that gives rise to repressed hostility. You can become a hostile person if you are not happy with your past, and you can become a paranoid person if you have fears about the future or you have uncontrolled desires for the future, unattainable desires for the future. So, the repressions of the past, the phobias or the fears of the future, the anger and frustrations of the present, and the hopelessness and pessimism of the present make your mind go to and fro, make your mind ruminate and make your mind worry. So conflict is rumination, paranoia, depression, anger and repression. If you have to sort this out, you need to work things out so that your superego and ego come in balance. Only then you will be able to say, look, I can run so much, so maybe I can run a little better, rather than aiming for so much all in one go. And similarly, if you bring your aspirations and your virtues on the same platform, then your conflicts tend to resolve. Now let me tell you what happens when you think, or when you sleep, or when you relax. There is EEG, which is the ECG of the brain. An electroencephalogram outlines various brain waves that are recorded during various activity of the brain. When you are in your usual state, mind crammed up, worried, and having 100 things to do in one go, and stressed out and basically working for performance, that is your beta waves. They are fast waves which are recorded on the graph. When you go into a state of focus and readiness, channelize your mind into doing one activity, you go into alpha state. Now alpha state is not the bombarded state. Alpha state is a little slower waves than the beta state. When you start drifting off to sleep, you go into theta waves. Theta waves are even more slower. Now there is a theta 1 and slower than that is theta 2. Theta 1 state is the state of reverie or daydreaming. When you close your eyes and you relax, that time your mind just starts drifting from one subject to another, sometimes pleasant, sometimes unpleasant, and you start free floating. That is the state of reverie. And finally, you have the state of trance, when you are just about to fall asleep. When you are just about to fall asleep, it's theta 2 waves, where the waves are slower than theta 1. And you are now in a state of optimum use and performance of the mind. The theta 2 state or the trance state is a state where you can reprogram your mind to do whatever you desire. Once you fall asleep, you go into the delta state. Now the delta state is a state of deep sleep. And once you go there, then your mind has lost all control. You have lost all control over your mind because you are now fast asleep. Now each one of these states has its great potential. While the beta state has the risk of too much of stress, too much of work, too much of cram up in your mind, the alpha state is a state which can be used to build focus, to build concentration, and to do a high performance job in a short time. If you have a job of 4 hours and you want to finish it in 40 minutes or maybe 4 minutes, then you need to be in the alpha state of focus. If you want to sort your emotional troubles, or you want to be creative, find an out-of-box solution for a stubborn problem, then you need to be a little more deeper. You go into the theta 1 state, the state of reverie. Now state of reverie is to sort out problems and solve your emotional problems. From there you go into the theta 2 state. Theta 2 state is state of trance, where you can command your mind to do whatever you please. So each state has great potential, and you need to find methods of entering into each state so that you can tap on these potentials. So I am going to tell you now how to use mind maneuvers to enter each one of these states. The first state, the resting state, alert state, is your beta waves. From there, how to go into alpha focus, how to go into theta 1 dream-like creative state, how to go into theta 2 or the trance for reprogramming. So the body has stopped moving, but the mind is alert. The body has gone to sleep, mind is alert. That is the theta 1 state of reverie. The theta 2 state is the state of trance, deep sleep. You're just about to enter into very, very deep sleep, but you're just there. You haven't yet gone to sleep. That is a state of trance. So we have, after that, deep sleep. Deep sleep is delta waves. Delta waves are the slowest waves, and you're fast asleep and you have no control over your mind or your body for that matter, because your body is also akinetic or immobile. Now let me tell you how you can reach each state and what you can do in it. The normal beta state is the state where we are working too much. Our efficiency is not optimized. It's like a computer which is crammed with many programs and the strain on the RAM. So state 1 is the alpha state used for building focus. Whenever you need to focus or whenever you need to build high performance in a short time, you need the alpha state. So how to bring about great performance in a short time? Let's say you have to do work and the work is 4 hours and you have no stamina left. You are fagged out and famished and you want to finish this 4-hour work in 40 minutes. What you need is the alpha state. Now how do you go to the alpha state? It's very simple. Close your eyes. You can do this exercise and count and visualize numbers, Roman numbers. Visualize Roman number 1, stay there for 5 seconds, go to Roman number 2, stay there for 5 seconds, number 3, 5 seconds, whatever thoughts come, push them away. Go on till Roman number 10. That is the first exercise to reach the alpha state. Once you have counted 10, each Roman letter for about 5 seconds, you finished about 90 to 100 seconds of focus. Now you start focusing on your body scan. You start looking at feel your little finger. 1, next 2, then ring finger, then middle finger, then index finger, then thumb. Similarly, go to the other hand, feel your 5 fingers move a little one by one. Spend 5 seconds on each finger. Then you go to your toes. Focus on your toe, your second toe, third, fourth, fifth of your right leg, and then left leg. By the time you have finished entire toes, you have again added another 100 seconds of focus. Now you open your eyes and focus on the job at hand. You are now in the alpha state, and you will find that your concentration and your ability to work high performance short time will be achieved, and you will finish your work of 4 hours in 40 minutes. Now let me tell you how to get to the next state, that is the theta 1 state. And the theta 1 state is a state of reverie. You have to first practice your reaching alpha state, that is whatever 2 exercises I told you now, and then without opening your eyes you have to add the next 2 exercises. So the next 2 exercises is, one is breath counting. So with your eyes still closed, after you've done your fingers and toe body scan, you start counting the breath, inhalation 1, exhalation 2, and count till 100. You go 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Up is inspiration, down in expiration. So you count 100 breaths. At the end of it, you go to the 4th exercise. You imagine a blackboard, and on that blackboard all your current worries, your current thoughts, your current troubles are all scribbled in white chalk. You pick up a duster, a big duster which is wet with detergent, and you wipe off the blackboard. Imagine you're wiping the blackboard. First the upper edge, then the lower edge, then the right edge, then the left edge, and then the center, and now you have a big black empty board which is a black hole. At this stage, your empty blackboard can be used for problem solving, for finding creative, new, radical, out of the box approaches to the problems which you could not solve when you are awake. So that is your blackboard. Your emotional conflicts also, loss of hope, anger. Why did I get angry? I should not get angry. Maybe I should have been cooler. And this is what all these discussions can be done on the blackboard, which is now wiped clean. So your blackboard wipeout technique in Buddhism, sometimes in Zen it is called shunyata, empty mind. You can use your empty mind for creative solutions to problems and for sorting your emotional troubles and conflicts. Now let's go to the next state, theta 2 state. How do we reach the theta 2 state? Now, to reach the theta 2 state, you have to first do the 2 exercises for alpha state, the 2 exercises for theta 1 state, that is whatever we spoke now. Once you have finished wiping the blackboard, to enter the next state, you got to take a dive. You got to dive inside the blackboard and imagine that it turns out to be a deep well and you're falling deeper into the well. Imagine that you hit rock bottom, you reach the water of the well turns out to be a sea, and you're going, sinking now, deeper. Say sinking. First you say falling into the well. Then you say sinking into the bottom. And when you reach the bottom, imagine that the seabed opens up and you are entering the core of the earth. And you say that I am getting pulled deeper and deeper into the core of the earth or into the recesses of your mind, and you will feel as if you are just going to fall asleep. But no, do not fall asleep, because that is where the greatest potential of the mind lies, the trance state. When you reach that trance state, you will find your mind is completely oblivious to everything else around. Your hands and legs have gone to sleep, you can't move them. Now you have to do what you can in the trance state. Now what can be done in the trance state? A lot of things can be done. You can reprogram your mind by giving commands. You can say, I will not smoke, I will lose weight, I will not have those arguments with my folks, my dad, my wife, not my wife, I mean your wife. You will not have arguments with your wife, though you can argue with my dad. So, all this kind of programming can be done in the trance state. Now, how do you actually induce trance state? You have deepened, right? These are deepeners, falling into a well, sinking into the water and getting pulled into the core of the earth. The second technique to add there is to make your hands and legs immobile, cataplexy. What do is you tell yourself that my eyelids are tightly shut and even if I try to open it, I am not able to open it. My hands are tied by magnetic force and as much as I try, I can't move my hands. My legs have been nailed to the bed. As much as I try to move, I can't move. Spine has been velcroed to the bed and I can't just move. So you're now immobilized your body. With these commands, your body cannot move. Now you have to do what is called as auto-suggestion. What you can do is you can imagine a genie, a demon, a big god coming unto you and holding you and giving you commands. You better listen to me, the genie says, and you have to take my command and you will follow what I tell you when you wake up. And you can give your command. You will not smoke. You will develop a distaste for cigarettes. And every time you look at a cigarette, you will feel nauseous. Or you do not want to gain weight. Every time you see food, you see chunks of fat, chunks of belly, chunks of lard on your plate. You will not fight or argue or debate with your loved one. Every time you see your loved one, you will be filled with a lot of love, lot of joy and lot of need to relate. So you can give yourself any command. You will beat the competition. You will give your best performance and no one will ever be able to beat you. So you can give commands like this. This is the trance state used for complete reprogramming of your mind and giving commands. Now the next thing you must do is to exit So how do you exit? You start reversing everything. You are now at the core of the earth. So start pulling yourself up, out towards the seabed. And you reach the seabed, then you start swimming up, up, till you reach the well. And when you reach the well, you start climbing up and up the rope till you reach out of the well. And you have now reached consciousness. So you can tell yourself at the count of 5, I will wake up alert and ready. This is how you exit. Now, when you exit, it is preferable that you do not exit back to the beta state, but you exit into the gamma state. Now, the beta state is a state of wakefulness, where you are, crammed up with a lot of things. But a higher frequency is the gamma state. Gamma state is where you are able to be mindful, you are aware of your surroundings, you are aware of the trees, the sky, the birds, the people around who mean to you, and your own energy, your own phase in life, that I am in my 30th year or 40th year or 50th year and I am having a good time. This kind of awareness is the gamma state. And the gamma state is a state of mindfulness, of Zen. So you need to enter out. So if you just count, at the count of 5 I will awake. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You will come back to beta state. But from the beta state, if you want to enter into the gamma state, you have to now tell yourself, let me look at 5 things around me which I have not noticed. So you open your eyes and look. If you are outdoors, you'll see the blue sky, you'll see greenery, you'll see birds. But if you are indoors, you may just notice the colors in your house, the colorful people and their costume, colors in your office. You can count 5 colors. Then you open your auditory apparatus. You listen. What are you able to listen to? 5 sounds which you've never heard before. The beeping of a car, horn honking. You can hear the whizzing of a fan or the AC. Or if you're outdoors, you can hear the chirping of the birds. You can hear maybe a dog barking. Or you can hear people talking to you and look at them and their voice so beautiful. So, hearing 5 stimuli, seeing 5 stimuli. Next is feeling 5 stimuli. You feel the wall. You feel your shirt. You feel your bed. You feel the energy of the person next to you. That's all. And 5, you feel how your foot feels on the ground. So feel. And the last thing is you move. You move your hand and feel it. You move your fist and move it. You move your hair and feel it. You walk, feeling the ground and feeling every joint move. So when you see more, hear more, feel more and move more in complete awareness, that time you become mindful. When you become mindful, you understand that the world is not just your office room, but it's also your building, it's also your location, it's also your city, it's also your country, it's also the universe, it's also the galaxy. You expand and expand. When you look at people in front, you realize that there are people not just there, but there are people out on the roads. There are people going to office, there are people returning back home, there are people dating, there are people entertaining, and there are birds in the sky. There are animals on the ground, in the jungles. There is aquatic life, there is sharks, and there is fish out there in the oceans. And you're just one among them, one person among so much other energy under the sky, under the sun, under the stars, under the moon, and you are now in a state of great mindfulness, the gamma state. And gamma state is not meant for materialism, it's meant to experience bliss in the journey of life. So I have now told you how to reprogram your mind in order to build focus for a high performance in low time, for problem solving and creativity, for sorting your emotional conflicts, for commanding your mind to do what you could not before, for a good refreshing sleep where you go through the whole cycle and you exit, you slept very well, and for experiencing bliss in the walk of life. I hope you like this mental maneuvers and you will use it on a regular basis to gain control over your mind and happiness in your surroundings. Thank you.